Hello ladies and gentlemen, Meoni here, and today we're going to be looking at itemization changes with the Warlords of Draenor expansion. So here I am on the character select screen, and we're going to be looking at what this affects. So as you can see, I've got a shaman here that's resto, but I also have elemental specs, so I have a different set of gear. My Retidin here also has a healing set, and most importantly, my druid, which is my main, has all the sets basically. So let's have a little look at how this is going to change. So I'll show you this, well, a couple of slides from BlizzCon 2013 now, which shows you the changes to itemization, and we'll go into what this actually means. So this first slide from BlizzCon actually explains what I'm talking about here. These are armor changes, mostly to large pieces of armor, main pieces of armor, such as your helm, your chest, your legs and your hands, for example, whereas rings and trinkets and things like that will still be, itemized for specific uses. There'll be a spirit trinket drop that is obviously for a healer, not for Ret Paladin, for example. However, main armor pieces now, there will only be, in this example, one piece of plate, not a piece of strength plate, intellect plate, or HP stacking, dodge, parry plate, or whatever. It will be a piece of plate that will drop, and all of the paladins will be rolling on that particular item. Once they have received that item from winning the roll or being assigned that piece of gear from their loot master, it will change dependent on their spec. So they equip that piece of gear and suddenly it has intellect on it and spirit when they're a healer, for example. And if they change spec to a Retidin, then they have obviously strength and various other stats, but not the intellect. So this is more of a dynamic approach to gear. Also, it does raise the amount of competition in particular instances, but also decreases the likelihood that one person will get all of the loot, and that person will never see a piece of gear because strength loot never drops, for example. So in many ways this is a positive and negative change here and there, but the biggest positive change is what I'm about to show you now. So let's log on to my druid and I'm going to show you what this would change. Now, as you can see, if I open my bags are full of different sets of gear. Now obviously I've got some pretty crap feral gear here, but I still use the feral spec. I use all 4 specs here and there depending on if I'm soloing something or if I'm healing or whatever, and I change the gear to whichever I need. Now I don't actually have enough room in these bags, these maximum size bags that I'm using with Baglon here, to be able to keep all of the gear together. Well, after Warlords of Draenor, I will only need one set of gear, and that will be the set of gear that is the most powerful. Now bear in mind this only works for PvE. PvP gear is not in this itemization change at all, from what we've heard, so this is simply for PvEs only. So what it means is I can have my heroic BIS pieces for my healing gear, but I can also change spec to Retribution, to Retribution is a druid, you know what I mean, to Feral, and I will have the same gear essentially, the same powerful gear, but I will be a Feral druid as well, which means that I'll be able to solo content more easily. This solves the problem of healers not being able to level essentially, or have as much fun doing dailies, etc. So this basically is a game changer really. This is a huge thing, and it was slipped into the second day and as part of a small announcement as part of the panel. But this is definitely worth talking about, and I'd love to know what you guys think about this, so leave a comment below as to whether you think this is positive or negative. Personally, I don't see any negatives for this, apart from obviously the increase of competition in gear drops, but then again, there's always a piece of gear that drops that nobody ever takes and we DE, so there we go. Thank you very much for watching my video. My name has been Meoni of Ace Games TV. Sub for more as we look at BlizzCon coverage weekly and many more games. Thank you and goodbye.